Welcome to In Conversation with Koketso Mapilela. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy.
How do you think, if this is I don't know if this is something that you do, if it's part of what you do, but you mentioned literacy. How do our kids actually do with like comprehensive reading and all of that, like young learners?
The work that we do, or rather the work that I'm involved in doing,
Mm.
is basically trying to, you know, that our literacy levels are really low in South Africa, right?
Mm.
And so we're trying to gather research, that kind of tells us around, like information around the science of learning and reading, basically. Like, what are the foundations of reading? What needs to be there? What is a complete non-negotiable for learners to get to a point where they're able to read, right? Reading with comprehension, as you
Mm.
say. So what the research is telling us currently is that there needs to be a minimum set of reading materials and tools for teachers to use within the classroom to ensure that learners actually have those materials.
Oh,
We
yeah.
need to we need to train teachers on how to teach reading, basically.
Mm.
And then there needs to be assessments, regular assessments around like there needs to be a benchmark of some sort to say
Of
this is the level
course.
that you need to be able to read at maybe at grade one for you to be able to read with comprehension by grade four when you go
Mm. Of
intermediate
course.
phase. Yeah, so those are the three major things that we focus on. And so we work with provincial government, education officials to kind of get that into the curriculum and
Mm.
also into, well, the normal dealings within the province for us to get to the
Yeah.
learners being able to read, they need to have that minimum set. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but that's
You
what
are
I.
answering the question because, of course, I did read something not so long ago about, I think it was on is it 702? Yes, it is 702. The radio station, right? 702.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was on 702. They posted something on Facebook, an article about a lot of learners struggling with comprehension. And I was like, okay, but I only saw that after I had written what I wrote, and I was like, okay. Um, is this really something that will help back home? And, of course, I want it to be everywhere, not just in South Africa. But given that
Yeah.
it's about traveling and teaching kids how to get to that point of getting a passport and stuff to be able to travel to other countries and stuff like
Mm.
that, since this is what I'm telling my niece, and she's basically researching that and trying to understand how she can come and visit me and what's required and why it's not so easy, like going to Cape Town, flying to Cape Town. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, anyway, thank you for sharing that part. I'm gonna take you back to um what we were talking about earlier. And thank you for sharing what you do. Yes, I guess I hope it helps someone out there
I hope
know,
so too.
yeah, like know what people do, to be honest, because I think there's always this thing of being stuck in the professions that are popular and people not necessarily knowing that you can actually branch off, of course, based on what you studied and your research and, stuff like that. It helps me too as well, in my thinking process. Um, so yeah, my other question is, when you were moving to this new job, this new workplace, what did you
Mhm.
hope or who did you hope you'd be in your workspace? And maybe your personal life. What did you think was going to be different?
Wow. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, job-wise, I was transitioning from being a senior coordinator to a manager,
Yeah.
right? So, and maybe that's where the pressure comes from because you're like, oh, this title has manager in it. So
Yeah.
I need to be a manager. So I think in my mind, it was managerial, like I'm at a higher level, so I need to basically function at that level. So that is also part of that transition that I had to make mentally to say, okay, now you don't get so much I don't want to say orders, but you don't get so much orders. You
Mm.
kind of have to like self-lead and also be able to lead others. And so, yeah, I thought that that was the mental state that I was in to say, okay, now that I'm coming from here to there, I need to be a self-starter, a self-leader. Sorry, a self-leader. Yeah, so that's what I thought. And then personally, it was also a transition from being codependent. I told you I was living with my best friend for the
Yeah.
time, and we were like, yeah, besties. Like when I come back from home, from the office, I knew there's always someone, right?
Oh, that you
So
can
like,
talk to. Yes.
yeah, so like, in my mind, living alone, I needed to be more responsible, in terms of my finances, planning, yeah, so all of those things. That's like what I thought I need to do, especially also financially, because now bills unshared,
Yes.
so it's all on me. So I needed to have my finances on point, on lockdown.
Oh. Was it like a shock to your system that that's something you
No,
basically had to, okay?
it wasn't. It wasn't. I think more than anything, I was prepared for that on a personal level. Yeah, like I knew that, like even before I found a place, like I had to plan and is this within the budget? Will I be able to afford this and all of that? So it wasn't much of a shock that I needed to plan ahead and have, a plan about my finances and how I'm going to pay for things and how I'm going to sort out emergencies and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, also my dad is very
Yeah.
he's very strict. So he'll
Mm.
be like, you need to know, like, yeah, we're not gonna bail you out at some point, so you need to be able to stand on your own or not. So I came in with that mentality to say, okay, whatever I do, I don't want to be calling people to rescue me during the week, I mean the month or something like that. So I need to know what I'm doing. And then, yeah, it wasn't a shock to the system that I needed to take care of myself. I think I've done that for
Mm.
quite a bit of time. I think the one big shock that I had is how expensive things are.
When you don't share
Life
bills.
is expensive,
Yes.
guys. Life is expensive. And also I love convenience. I love
Convenience in
convenience
what sense?
in the sense that I don't have to struggle for things that
Mm.
other people can do. Right? So, I mean, also in even in the simplest things, like I don't want to be picking up heavy things up the stairs. If I can get a delivery service, I will gladly take that.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, because yo, guys, we work hard, but also I'm tired. So,
Wait, what are you
yeah,
tired of? You don't want to
no,
be,
no,
you don't want to do all these things because you're tired, or you just really love convenience that much that you don't want to have to do those things.
I just love convenience. I don't have to, if I don't have to do it, I will not do it. So, yeah. Um, why did I mention that?
Because Papa How was saying he's not going to bail you. You're
Oh,
not going to be
yeah.
bailed, and you basically had to figure out how to do everything.
Oh, no, no. I was talking about how things are expensive, but I like convenience,
Mm,
right? So as far as possible, I will order my groceries and have them delivered,
mm.
um, and things like that. So that, yeah, I wasn't shocked by a lot of things, but the big shock was how expensive life is when you live alone. And also that when you're alone, like you're alone, guys, no one's
You
here
are
to save you.
alone.
Like, yeah, like no
You are
one's here to save
alone.
you. So
Nope.
yeah, I think maybe that also, because for the first time in a few years, I was just alone, like coming back from work and there's no one to debrief with, I have to
Mm.
call my friend. So for like the first month, every single day, we used to be on the call for like hours. Because even
Oh.
for her, I think she was also going through that kind of transition.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we helped each other a lot. But also when things like he carrying heavy things, guys. Oh,
You're not about that
not
life.
yeah, not that I never used to do it, but now I'm alone. Like my friend and I used to, for example, like those gas heaters.
Yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, so like we would go fill up the gas
Mm.
and carry it together up the stairs. Now I have to do it alone. Like that, my goodness. So
Adulting.
I'm trying to find
Adulting.
a service that can refill this thing and
Mm.
bring it back so I don't have to carry things. But I wasn't shocked about a lot of things. Maybe another shock is that furnishing an apartment. Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to you need to be ready for that kind of shift financially.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think when I was moving in, I had most of the things that I needed
Mm.
that could make my life as easy as possible.
Like what?
It's just like a couch, a
Okay,
TV,
yes.
you know. And luckily my apartment came semi-furnished, so it came with a fridge and a dishwasher and a washing machine. So at least that load was a bit lighter. But yeah, I'm just grateful I have a life that I love.
Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, and that's good that you actually say that. You should say that more often to yourself when you
Yeah,
feel, overwhelmed or like you're not, you don't belong or you're not worthy or, stuff like that. Because some of these thoughts really do creep up on
they
us
do.
and would be at times I'm shocked at how much I hold in, like in terms of the thoughts, like I don't actually release them. I don't let them out because I don't
Mm,
even know why. But then at the same time, I'm the very first person who has that, motivation message for a friend, for my sister, for my
yeah.
mom, and I guess that's what my friend meant, that you have that in you. Give it to
But not towards
yourself,
yourself. Yeah.
like channel it towards Koketo so Koketo can also feel how you make us feel,
Mm.
and I guess that is the art of becoming, learning that, because now I have to pause and remind
Mm-hmm.
myself that you need to be gracious to yourself. You need to, you know, have grace, that grace that you'll be having for everyone else and for, you know, strangers even. That's something you should
Yeah.
do to give to yourself, the person that you are worth 24/7. Because like you said, living alone,
Yeah.
living alone is a lot. Like,
It is.
it's a lot. You have to wake up. You must say good morning to yourself. Like, do I even say good morning to myself? I don't, but like
Um,
you just wake up and you have to look forward to like little things. I remember I was watching this podcast. I think it was by is it a podcast? It's Oprah. Oprah and someone else. Or was it no, Michelle Obama. I think
mhm.
it's yeah, I forgot the name of their podcast, her and her
Yeah.
brother. And she had a guest, and the guest, had shared something that she like knew about her husband, to say that her husband actually wakes up every morning and walks to the mirror in the bathroom and he's like, "Hello, buddy,"
Oh,
you
that's
know?
cute.
And then I was like, wait, I tried it for a week and I was like, this is very interesting. Of course, I wasn't consistent with that because I don't know how to do it, but it
Yeah.
made me feel so like, wow, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
looking at
you
myself.
acknowledge yourself. You're acknowledging
Yeah,
yourself. I think that's a very, yeah, that's a beautiful thing, actually.
it
Yeah,
really
come to
is.
think of it, we don't, yeah. Yeah, it's a great one. I'm gonna
Right?
try
You'll
it.
be waiting for the text message from someone else to be like, good morning. It's like, did you say good morning to yourself? Like, I actually now
Hmm.
I think I want to do that. Now that I'm
Yeah.
speaking about it,
I
I think
mean,
I want to say good morning to myself because honestly speaking, I wake up and I'm like, okay, let's see, what's the verse of the day? Let me
mhm.
do my devotion and then let's go to the gym. And then life just
Yeah, and then life just
everything's very
happens.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a
I
good.
come back to silence. I leave my apartment. There's silence.
But you know what? For me, I actually appreciate the silence now more
Mm,
because I get to be with myself a lot,
yeah.
right? And I think maybe if there is something that I should applaud living alone for, it's this one, that I get to spend time with myself. And I I I didn't realize this as much, but now that I live alone, I'm just like, I never used to spend time with myself,
Mm,
intentional time with myself.
mm,
So now, although it's like a forced thing because I'm alone,
mm.
but I get to have conversations on my own. It sounds crazy, but it helps. Like,
Not
when
crazy
you
at all. If
journal.
you live alone, anyone who lives alone knows. They know.
Yeah, so like, sometimes like when you journal, it's like your inside voice. Like
Mm,
now I actually talk to myself, like, okay, what are we doing
coming out.
today? Okay, this is what we're gonna do and whatnot. And like I literally have conversations with myself. Like it's just I don't say good morning to myself, so I need to
Mm.
do that.
I do want
But
to do that.
I
I'm definitely
appreciate,
trying it. I
yeah, I really appreciate the fact that I know that I'm capable of being by myself,
am.
and not that it should be a permanent state, but that I'll be okay even if
Mm.
I'm on my own. Like I'm not scared of not being with other people, which I really appreciate.
Are you someone who's, so for me, before I even ask, are you someone like I am someone who loves to be by myself, right?
Mm,
Like I'm that person that can talk to everyone. What do they call us? An ambivert. I'm an ambivert, right? Well, most people actually, according to statistics, are ambiverts. Like,
yeah.
it's just different levels of you 40% introverted and 60% this, that. But I found myself like this is the first weekend, if I'm being honest with you, this is the first
Mm.
weekend since I moved into this apartment that I'm actually spending time in this apartment. Like,
Wow.
yeah, because I mean it's not that I was like going to friends or stuff. But since I moved here, I literally got myself onto this program. Like I'm on my weight loss journey. This is what I'm gonna do. So I go to the clinic, I get my IV shot, I get my immune booster shot. I get the what is it? Laser? Is it laser? It's not laser, it's like this is it gives you 1,000 sit-ups. It feels like you're doing 1,000
Mm.
sit-ups.
Okay.
And obviously this is like in a different city, it's in Pyeongtaek. So I basically had to go there every Saturday, like I was. And then this morning, of course, I still had like one IV left that I needed to like take in. It was a gift from them. And I was like, you know what? I haven't spent time in this apartment. And
Mm.
that's why I've been feeling so tired. Like I'm always tired. Like, what is going on? So I do think that even though we live alone, there are sometimes things that we do that don't allow us to not even that they don't allow us, we don't allow us to actually be with ourselves, to
Mm.
spend time with yourself and not actually want to be outside. Because for someone who really, I can spend 2 weeks in my apartment and not have a problem, like, and not feel like something is wrong. So it took me a while to actually realize that part of the reason I've been so tired, it's not the gym, Koketo. It's not that. I'm doing too much. Well, I am doing too much, but the main thing is I'm not spending time with myself. Like that
Mm.
is
Yeah.
what it all boiled down to that. This is
Mm.
really my first weekend. What's the date?
Well,
The
the
14th of June, and I
14th.
moved into this apartment when? In March. Wow. That is such
Wow.
that's yeah, a
Yeah. So you
really
were
long
asking,
time.
am I the type of person to do what?
Are you the type of person to basically get energy from other? I asked you a question and then I answered it for myself, but I want to know for you as well. Are you the type of person who gets energy from being around people or just being by yourself?
I think, like you said, I think I'm an ambivert. I really, I draw. energy from myself, but
Mm,
I also pour it out a lot, like you said, and also get energy from others as well. So I'm an in-betweener. Like
mm,
I can't be alone for too long. Like 4 weeks is just a lot. I need to see people,
mm, mm, mm.
right? So for example, when I'm traveling, like on work assignments, like that's why I feel like I need to see people because I'm not actually here in my own personal space, so I can't really
Yeah.
enjoy it. So I need to see people. But when I'm in my space, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I really love it, and I get to fill my cup. But
Mm.
I do need people, and so I also love like spending time with people and having people around. But yeah,
Your
like I'm an
people, not just
in-betweener.
people, right?
Yeah, but I also do enjoy like meeting new people.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm an in-betweener through like there are times where like I've got so much energy from myself, I need to pour it out to other people.
Yeah.
So I need to see them and then they also pour into me and I feel like, oh, that was great. That's why I do like coffee dates. Well, I don't drink coffee, but brunches and
Yeah.
dinners. Just so I'm like, oh, I got to hear from this person. Now I have a different perspective. Yeah, I'm an in-betweener. I do love spending time alone, but it's limited. I can't always be alone.
Yeah, no, of course, we cannot always be alone. I think that would be like detrimental to our human nature because
Yeah.
in as much as we like being alone and we want to be alone, it just doesn't work. And I see that
Yeah.
in Korea. Like Korea is a very lonely country, like a
Really.
very lonely country. I think people don't understand that when someone decides that they actually want to move to a new country, the country that you move to is just as important as the kind of person that you, of course, we adjust as people, but as we know, we are not advanced as all the other animals in the
Yeah.
wild. We are we say we love change, but not so much. Like, when it starts off, it's really hard. We battle to
Mm.
actually adapt to
True.
whatever it is that is now changing. So, you have a lot of people here who, I don't know, this is the first country, as a sociologist, that was the first time in my life where I literally was like, wow, I've never seen a society like this. It's great, but the ills are also like, this is
Sure.
interesting. Like having okay, so the young people who do die by suicide, I
Mm.
feel are too young, and that's definitely anxiety and stress.
Mm.
What I had not heard of is older people, dying
Yeah.
by suicide because we would think you've lived life, you've seen it all, you should be
Yeah.
good, but it's so lonely. It's so lonely because you also can't just, you see, like how you saying you like meeting new people, just talking to new people. I love meeting new people. I love talking to new people, but I can't meet new people and talk to new people unless I'm very intentional about that.
Yeah.
Like super intentional. I can't, it's not like South Africa where I can just walk
Mm.
outside and then give one a motekere, yo, malume start talking or yo,
Yeah.
hey girl, like no, it's not like that. People are overly shy and
Sure.
people mind their business, like truly, truly mind their own business here. They're not about anyone's business.
Sounds like
So,
Joburg people.
hmm?
Sounds like Joburg people. I
No, if you
feel
think Joburg people are like that, no. This is another level. Like
really
this is
you have
another level. It's not the
mm,
when anytime I say to people, like one actually on 3 occasions when I went to Seoul, right? To show you that we are very lively people as South Africans, right? Anyone can spot us. I didn't even know that.
wow.
I walked into this restaurant bar and I
Mhm.
don't know what about my energy or what I did, and the guy was like, "You South African."
You're South
And I
African.
was like,
Oh,
"Yes, hi." And he was like, forgive me, mama. He was like, shots on me. And I was like, okay, let's do that. And everyone that I was
yeah.
with got shots because this guy was like, you guys have so much energy. He's from New Zealand. It's like, I don't know. There's just some, because I didn't do anything specific in that moment for him to actually be like, that's, I want, yes. Um, Walked into another, coffee shop and stuff, and I sat down and I just started like I was on my own actually that day. And when the guy brought my coffee, I don't know what I said to him, and I was like, wow. And because Koreans do also like gifting people, he gifted me my second coffee and my dessert. He was like, oh, this is service. Like, you're so amazing. Like, you're just so free to talk and stuff.
Lovely.
And I was just like, wow. And he was like, I bet you South African. I was like, I actually am. But it's so easy for a person to be like, no, man, what do you mean? People are happy people and stuff, but you
Yeah.
come here and you see they're very friendly. They're very, like helpful, but also at the same time very closed up.
Mm.
And it even gets to a point where you hear that, oh, Ntate Mogolo Mamang is gone, and you'd be thinking it's natural causes, and it actually isn't.
Oh, man.
He was just
But do
too
you
lonely.
have a community of people at least that you
I
can?
do. No, I definitely do. I have a community of people. Now you're worried.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, in such
No,
a lonely country.
it
What can
is
I
a
do?
lonely country, Sham. Like, yeah. So much that we even get used to it. When I first got you, and I can see the differences because like how different I was when I got here and how I am right now. In as much as I love that whole thing of, yo, it's about my neighbor. I know my neighbor. I can, all those stuff. I don't know my neighbors, right? It doesn't bother me anymore. But now I have
Wow.
a problem because when I open the door, I don't want to see anyone in the corridors. And when I first had that, like when I saw someone, I got so anxious. Like, why am I seeing a person in the corridors? And I was like, you've been in Korea for
Mm.
too long. Like,
Yeah.
why are you worried that you're seeing a person in the corridors? And even with them, you can see that, hey, don't say hi. Don't,
Yeah,
you
shame,
know,
man.
let me just
But
get where I'm going. That's like kind of the vibe,
mm,
and yeah, it's really, it's a different place. So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm just glad you have a community because
I
yeah.
do have a community. I do like even though now my main community is in Busan, which is like at the south of South Korea, and I've moved a little higher. I'm in the north of South Korea.
Hmm.
Um but like still I still have my friends also in this province. So it's not
Hmm.
that, difficult. But I think I've also adapted to this setup. The only thing is, of course, I
Mm,
don't allow myself to get like that. The one thing I don't think I can fully take on is being lonely and allowing myself to be lonely.
please don't.
Um, because yeah, I feel like if I do that, I will become antisocial. And I think that's
Mm,
why now I get as tired as I do when I meet new people, in a
yeah.
space because I just take up all their energy. Like,
Mm.
feel whatever they're feeling, and it's like, oh my gosh.
So long as you're cognizant of that,
Yeah.
and intentionally not trying to isolate yourself, then I think you'll be fine.
Yeah. So that is life this side. Anyway, my last question to you is, if you were to be the person that you ultimately want, if you were that person right now,
Hmm.
right? What
Okay.
would you tell yourself about, since we were speaking about transitions, what would you tell yourself about how you've felt from like the first month to now, the 6th month of you being at your new workplace and, this new journey? What would you tell yourself?
Um, I'd say it's not that deep, firstly.
Yes, that's the first thing. Okay, it's not that deep.
Yeah, it's not that deep. Sometimes okay, this is me talking to myself now.
Yes.
Like sometimes you feel that you're the only one going through something.
Oh, okay. Tell me about that.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, you're really not. And just because people don't talk about it doesn't mean they're not going through it.
Mm,
So be kind to yourself. Have grace. Have grace for yourself and others because some people don't know where you are going in terms of your transition on your journey. And so they wouldn't understand why you're taking certain steps or, doing certain things to get you there. So be kind to yourself, be gracious to yourself and others. And it's all a part of life.
Mm.
Um, that there are difficulties here and there, but you will get to where you want to go. So long as you're intentional about it. And sometimes also have also have a space to allow things to just happen.
I
Because if you
totally
plan
agree with
too
that.
much, yeah, if you plan too much, the likelihood of things not going according to your plan is very high.
Right. Mm.
So leave space for God to do his thing. Because yeah, we plan and we leave out God. And I think that's also something that, yeah, you need to be very serious about,
Mm.
like understanding that God, at the end of the day, God has that master plan. And no matter how much you plan, things are bound to go in a different direction. So
Yep.
allow God to be God in your life, so that even when you think this is the route that you need to take to be where you're supposed to be, just know that God always has better for you.
He
It
always
could even take
does.
it could even take lesser time than what you're planning in your mind. So leave that space for God always. Yeah, that's what I'll tell myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm also taking that in. Leave space for God. Don't plan too much because I think, well, I mean, I do remind myself to dedicate my plans to God so that, what
Mm,
he wishes, not wishes, what he wills to happen in my life that will direct me towards my destiny will actually take place. Because I think generally we do delay ourselves.
mm,
Ultimately, we delay ourselves because we have all these plans, all these things that occupy us based on what we see outside, what we see our friends go through, our families, um, just the world in general. We want to have all these things all at once, forgetting that, you know, you are a soul, of course, that came here. God permitted your soul to leave heaven so you could be here to fulfill a purpose of some sort. And, you know, I have to remind myself that does this help you? Does this
mm.
help where you're supposed to be going? Because if it doesn't, what's the point? And of
Sure.
course, I don't always think that, but there are moments where basically God just stops you to say, hold up, where's all of this going? Because
Mm,
you wanting all of this, but where is it going?
yeah.
And I had to also stop at some point to be like, you don't have this now. You're not able to have this now. And maybe it really doesn't matter. Like, you don't know. I don't know because
And maybe for that moment, you don't
for that
need
moment,
whatever it is. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So, thank you so much. This is like really nice. I'm
It's
happy though we did get to this part about God because I feel like all my other interviews did end up being that, and I was like, God, is this where you taking me? I wasn't, no, like for real. And I'm like, oh, but mañana o utlile mo to bring spirituality, which I wouldn't really mind doing. But I wanted people to also be able to relate to different parts. And I'm so happy that you took your time to be here with me and people who will be watching this to share your journey of becoming, to share who you are as a person and the things that you want for yourself, for being vulnerable as well, because I think being able
yeah.
to admit that this is, the things that you're struggling with are the things that you're struggling with is really, something that we don't get to hear every day from people. So I'm happy that you did allow yourself to get there in this space. And it helped me definitely to also, like, as you talking, I'm also thinking about stuff as well, like, relax, it's not that deep.
Relax.
So yeah, I do hope that you as well, whoever is watching this, can also get that part and be able to understand that it really isn't that deep. Like we are on a journey and things happen as we are becoming. And sometimes we won't be exactly what we want to be because that is not what or how God fashioned us, to be or where he actually wanted us to go. And yes, again, from me, I would say we should always seek God and find out what it is that the direction in which he wants us to move so that we are not wasting time and,
Mm.
just doing stuff and it feels like you're in a loop, caught up in a loop, going, I don't know where. But even if that is how you feel, I felt that way. I still feel like it was not wasted because there's
Mm.
nothing that gets wasted with God. So, yes.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for watching and yes, I hope to see you guys again soon and maybe Lebrang will come back at different time to speak to everyone. Let us know. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Do you have any last few words you'd like to say, Lebo?
Thanks for inviting me. It's always great having a conversation with you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, in sharing what I shared, that someone picks up something of value.
Mm,
And just to say that although life is long, life is also short. So
yeah.
be grateful always, and intentional about living a life that makes you happy
Mm,
and that is peaceful. Like in all of the business of life, you need
mm,
peace internally. And so whatever you do, lead with love towards yourself and peace within your mind. For whatever decision that you make sure that
mm.
it gives you peace. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I live by that. Whatever decision you make, ensure that it gives you peace because that is
Yeah.
what matters. So that's
Yeah.
it from us, guys. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this conversation, please, please, please do share it with them. And thank you guys so much. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.